Hello. How you doing? Welcome back. Sorry for the late start. And I think we are, yeah, everything is ready. Ooh, what's going on here? That looks awful. What's happening? My monitor, not my monitor, but the signal is all jammed. It looks good on my end. See if I can fix it. One sec. Well, that's a first. That is very interesting. I'm gonna try something different. Hold on. There we go. That was weird. OBS is quirky sometimes. All right, so last time we got the edit publisher or the publisher resource ready and working. Before I move on, however, hello Joseph, how you doing? Before I move on, I'm gonna see if I can move this layout around. I don't like two columns. I prefer a single row with the inputs taking half of the space. So all in this row here. You would have to use that command and then put what you want to say right next to it. That's how it works. Tips for a beginner programmer in high school. Should I learn software architecture like microservices? It doesn't really matter. At that level, it depends on what you are interested in. If that's what calls your attention, learn that. And if midway you find out that's not what you like to do, learn something else. Go for backend technology or something. It You're in high school, dude. You have a lot of time to decide what is it that you want to focus on. So, if your decision is based off of what's in the market, well, if you're in high school, you still have a lot of time to decide. You still have to go to college, higher education, and when you get there, they are going to give you, if you decide to go with software, with a software related career like programming or software engineer, they are going to give you the foundations for everything else you are going to want to learn. So don't stress too much about what you should focus on right now. Just learn a bunch of shit, practice, give yourself some projects, and just enjoy the act of learning because you have a shitload, shitload of a, you have a lot of time ahead of you. So don't stress, right? Don't stress about it just yet. Just learn a bunch of stuff, and on the way you find out what is it that you like, and you can just go from there. Don't worry about it. You're young. Got the whole your whole life ahead of you. Usually, I would just go in and change the layout myself. I want to see how Claudio Code handles that. If we're vibe coding, let's just vibe code all the way. So I'm just gonna go in my project. And let me move this to its own space. And let's do Claude. Set it in planning mode. Huh. Auto update failed. Try Claude Doctor. Huh, okay. See what's that about. Oh, okay. Insufficient permissions. Let's do it ourselves. It's because I had to install Claude globally. I had to use sudo. So let's do an auto update myself. Oh, G. All right, no errors. That's good. All right, what I want to do is take a break.
The stream is now paused for ads.
Just a few seconds before the ads go away on Twitch. I'm going to start typing in the meantime. Publisher, right? It was publishers. No, it's going to be a form. Welcome back from the ads. I'm just typing in what I want, which is to change the publisher resource edit and create form to keep all inputs in a single column. Taking only one column in space. That makes sense, right? Let's see if it can figure it out. It was publisher, right? Publisher resource? Yeah, publisher. Nice. Using Laravel Boost to search the documentation for filament grid layout, form single column, and form layout components. Also looking for grid single column, form grid layout, column span full. All right, what's the plan? Based on my analysis of the current publisher's resource structure, I need to modify the form layout to organize all inputs in a single column with consistent sizing. The current state has 5 form fields currently displayed in a filament's default layout. Changes required wrap form components in a grid layout with a single column configuration. Set column span full for all form fields to ensure they take the full width, and use responsive grid settings to maintain a single column across all breakpoints. We're going to use grid make 1 to wrap around all of the form components. Alternatively, set the column span full for each individual field. Ensure consistent spacing. Only one file modified, and then it's going to test everything. As always, I'm going to manually approve every single change. All right, new component. right. And this is, it looks big, but all it's doing is just wrapping all of the inputs with grid, make one, and then schema, array, and then put in everything, just indenting everything accordingly, which is fine. And then moving on to testing. Also Pint. Go ahead. Get absolute URL. Okay, yeah, go ahead and use it. I don't know why you want it, but oh, okay. Just to go directly to that URL. All right. Supposedly it's done with a grid component around the form. Maintain all existing functionality. Let's go ahead and check it out. Probably have to log in again. That is correct. Yeah, that's basically what I wanted. Good. Also, I always like, whenever I create a record, which I'm pretty sure it's not happening right now. In fact, let's go ahead and try it. What was that? I clicked cancel and I went to the dashboard. That's not good. Hold on. Let me see that again. Edit, cancel. No, it's fine. Whenever you create a new record in Filament, say test company, test at company.com, https company.com, no logo, active. Whenever you create a record, it stays and goes to the edit. I don't like that. I prefer that we are taken back to the list, and from there we can come back and do edits. So that's a pretty common change that I do on all of my resources. I am going to ask Claudio, to do that change for me. Again, plan mode first. Make it so that after creating a new publisher, the user is taken back to Maria. How you doing? Maria Hameli. Am I separating that correctly? Maria Hameli? Hello. It's going good so far. Thank you so much for asking. How about you? How you doing? How's your week going? Taken back to the publisher table list instead of the edit form. should be enough. Go ahead and think. I do have a schedule. It's down below in the about page. I usually just play one game a day. Try to keep it at one game a day, whatever I'm playing at the time. There will be no games today though. I have to go to bed early, so it's just gonna be coding. All right, let's see the plan. Publisher, current extended record, minimal configuration. Okay, using the default redirect. Yeah, it's going to override the get redirect URL, which is the standard thing to do. And taking us back to the index. All right, that's fine. I am going to auto accept edits on this one because it's pretty straightforward. Okay. Now it's going to do bind and test. All right, let's give it a try. Go back. I'm going to delete this one just for the funsies. And then new publisher again. Hit create, and we're back to the list. Hell yeah. Do you use PHP? PHP is basically my main language, programming language. Spanish is my main language. Yeah, PHP since I was a 20-year-old young boy. So that's 20 years so far. It has been my language forever. And 10 of those years, I've been using the Laravel framework. By the way, how you doing, Justin? Welcome in. Did the same edit on the view page, which is nice. Single row, single file. Hey Webami, how do you plan? Do you plan for an API backend? Oh, that's I saw your question on the video. Sorry, I didn't answer then, but I will answer now. My plan is just as I did with the previous project. Hi, Bear, how you doing? Good morning. Evening for me. Good morning for you. In the last project, I basically put in the API backend along with the filament project. So I'll probably do the same thing just for simplicity and for me not to create a new, entirely new project out of this. I guess putting all the API stuff in this same project is no problem for me. So yeah, it's gonna be in this same project along with the filament admin panel. The API backend is basically going to do all of the data serving for the mobile app, searching for jobs, um, getting job offers out of a group, and everything that has to do with the content of the app data wise. It is nice also, and I had not noticed that it changed the icon to a little building. Isn't that nice? I did not request for that, and it did it on its own. Are you using Boost to boost the productivity? Yes, sir. I'm boosting productivity with Laravel Boost. So I'm boosting all the way. Laravel Boost was the main reason why I'm giving vibe coding a try. I was staying away from it all this time, just looking from the sidelines. And then Laravel Boost came, and I was like, I'm in. One second. One moment, please. Okay. Thank you for the answer. No problem, dude. That's why I'm here. I'm just about to get started learning PHP. What framework can you best recommend? I think you know the answer, dude. Laravel, of course. Please. It is the best framework out there for PHP developers. Hands down. Laravel. 100%. Also, it is ideal, but it's not a requisite. You can learn PHP pretty much the basics of the language and then jump in. You do need some background in object oriented programming, but again, you can figure it out. You can figure it out on the way. If you know object oriented programming, jumping into Laravel, knowing just PHP basics is pretty easy stuff, especially nowadays. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, PHP is it's built on PHP, but you can also bring in your Vue.js or your React.js for front end stuff. And there is Wheelie. Hi, Wheelie. How you doing? What are you working on, and why does website not have placeholder? What placeholder? I'm sorry. What? What? Empty space looks out of touch. What are you talking about? First question. I am just working on a new project. I created a bit of a PRD, and it's just a job seeker app with a few extra bells and whistles. Mainly because I want to try two things: native PHP with push notifications. It's right on the screen. What, this one? Yeah. The main idea is I'm gonna try and create a mobile app for job seekers and job posters. We're gonna have publishers on one side, and I am going to create a mobile app for people job looking for jobs and an admin where I can manage those job postings in a way that feels a kind of real life scenario, meaning that we're going to have publishers wanting to use the audience that we are going to have in our app, and they're going to pay us for us driving traffic into those job postings. It's run using table and form builder. It's filament version 4 basically, and I'm vibe coding the whole thing. That's another thing that I'm trying out in this project and the last one. So I just asked Claudio Code to give me a resource for publishers, and this is what came out. Just a good old filament version 4 resource with all the version 4 standards. Which technology for the mobile app? PHP, my dude. Now we can create native apps, native apps for Android and iOS using nothing but PHP and Laravel. I think we can move on to the next. Why did the music stop? Why? I know on YouTube it never started, but on Twitch I do have music and I want to hear it. Native PHP, that's correct. That is correct. This logo, this is just an image that I chose randomly out of the internet, not related. Pay no attention to the graphic. In fact, I should delete everything from here. But yeah, don't pay attention to that image. It's just a random logo that I got. Yeah. Am I using Spatty Media? No. No Spatty packages have been used in this project so far. It's just using the regular form input and file storage from Laravel. I think we can move on to the next piece in the admin panel, see how Claude manages that. We already have publisher management. We are able to create, edit, activate, deactivate, and view publishers. And I think we can move on to section 3.3, which is job posting management. We have the required fields. Let me just double check that there is nothing here that doesn't match. Location, city, state, country. Application URL and expiration date. Yeah, because as I mentioned, I'm vibe coding this all the way. And the one thing that vibe coding does, at least Claudio Code, is it writes all the tests. So we do have testing. Every time I add something new, Cloud Code makes sure that all the tests and all the functionality is working if I'm modifying something existing. And every time I add something new, it goes along with all of the tests using PES4, by the way. So yeah, we have tests. Optional fields, job category, and job posting operations. All right. I'm just going to ask Claude to create a new resource that meets the requirements of section 3.3 of the PRD. The way that we did that last time is we just open this. I found your video on native PHP. I will check it out and give it a try. Thanks. No problem, dude. I believe it's in the downloads folder. Yep. So I just grab that, put it here, and create a new resource for job postings that meets all the requirements of section 3.2, 3.3 of the attached PRD document. It's in plan mode. No, it's not. Plan mode. Hit it, boy. Read file. Yes, please. Read it. Read it. I will give you permissions. Oscar Manuel Aguillon. Hi, how you doing? Welcome in. Socan, how you doing? Welcome in. Is Ubuntu easy to use? Yes. In my experience, it has been very easy to use. No problems whatsoever. However, I did corner myself into a problem, which was I chose 25.4 instead of 24.4. Basically, I went for the latest version that is not LTS. So I did have a couple of issues with packages for PHP that were missing, and I had to install myself. Other than that, pretty easy experience so far. What are we doing? I'm creating a new project for teaching purposes. I want to try out PHP native, creating a mobile app with push notifications, and I am using a job seeker app.
The stream is now paused for ads.
To try that out. It's basically just a job seeker app with an admin panel, a backend API, and a mobile app. Do I speak Spanish? Yes, I do. Sí, señor. However, 2 years ago, I chose to base all of my content in English because at the time, the niche that I wanted to corner was all in English. So I decided to go with English speaking content instead of Spanish. And at this time, switching is just not an option. I already have a bit of an audience already. So let's see if Claude will struggle with job model and uses job stable. Let's see. Let's see the plan actually. What is the plan, Claude? Based on the section 3.3 of the PRD document, I need to create a comprehensive job posting resource with the following specifications. I'm from Colombia, and all your stuff are in, and all our stuff are in Laravel. Perfect. You're welcome. Right at home. Required database fields: a job title, job description. This is all for the table, location, latitude and longitude, required coordinates. I don't know about that, but we'll see. Location required, city, state, and country. It is asking me for latitude and longitude as required coordinates, and I'm not sure that that's the case. Employment type, required full-time. Application URL, that is required. Expiration date is required. Job category is optional. Okay, that's basically my fault because I didn't put lat and long as optional, which I should have. Additional required fields: publisher ID, status, revenue per action or RPA, which is what we get paid every time someone clicks on that job on our website and send it to a publisher. And a feature Boolean designation. See the implementation plan. Might have to change that latitude and longitude fields. Create an employment type enum. Perfect. Job status enum. Create a migration. Creates a job model with proper relationship casts and accessors. Create a job factory for testing. Create a filament resource. Configure form components. Configure the table interface. Add validation rules and create tests. I am going to leave lat long fields empty for now. I have an idea of what to do, but the whole idea of latitude and longitude for location searching, it's a whole feature on its own. So I'm going to leave it optional for now on the model because this is what I have envisioned. Whenever we do a search for a location, whenever we create a new resource, I'm going to add a new feature later where I will use a public API to use city, state, and city, state, and country to query a latitude and longitude for that record. Same thing goes for the searching. The user, when it's searching, we can ask the user for their location using the GPS on the device. We can request for that data, and we are going to use that to search for jobs that are in a radius around the user. And then group those together and use weighted selection to basically choose which job to show or jobs to show after. But for now, I'm going to leave them optional because I don't want us to do a lot in just one byte. So I'm going to say no, keep planning, and make latitude and longitude optional fields, and that's it. And see, yeah, there it is. Ahmed, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome in. All right. Yes, and I will manually accept or approve edits. We're going to see what kind of... Oh, it's going to do a jobs table. Which... Do you think that's going to be a problem later? If I want to use tasks in Laravel? I think it is, right? There already is a jobs table? Hmm. You might be right. One sec. One moment. I'm so used to do Command P, as in Pedro, but that shortcut basically resets my monitor's size, and that is awful. Gotta go and change that. It just resets everything on my display settings, which is so annoying. Basically, do it at least twice a day. I have to change that shortcut somehow. 1920, 100%. Hello. Oh, my monitor just stopped working. Come on. There it is. Okay. Hello. Why is Control P not working? I'm gonna close it and open it again. I don't know what's going on here. Oh my god. Hmm. One sec. Yeah, it's Control P, dude. Can I make it Super P? No. I did it again. Oh my god. I hate this so much. The struggle, dude. The struggle. And it's worse. It's even worse right now. Display settings. You go over this side. You know what? I'm gonna give this a little restart because it's acting crazy and I don't know why. Isn't there a double press or control? Yeah, there. I changed that specifically because I like to use Control P in Windows, but it's not giving me the right results. So I'm just gonna give it a quick jolt. Yeah, yeah. Apply that, please. Thank you. Close, close, close. And PHP Storm is just stuck, apparently. Close. There we go. I'm gonna tell Clo. Stop it. My guess is that what's going to happen, since there is already a job stable, is that by the time Claude tries to run the migrations, is going to find the issue, analyze the database, see that there is already a job stable, and then change the name of the migration to something different. I've seen it done. I've seen it do that before. So I kind of just want to let it do it and see how it figures the issue out. Sorry. Boy, you are taking your sweet, sweet time, aren't you? Hello. It should not take this long. Was there an update I was not aware of? There we go. Jesus Christ. Oh, you disconnected my keyboard? Why? Please. Come on. There you go. There. All right. Let's try this again. PHP store. I forgot. Was it Control W to close the tab? No, it just selects the whole thing. Control P just moves the thing upwards. Swear to God, dude. It's forgetting all of my keyboards. I did double shift. It works okay. Why the fuck? Doesn't know about control? That's fucked up. I don't like that. Why are you doing that? Are you not logged in? Why not setting it synced? I do not log in because I only have one license and I use it in both my Mac and my laptop. It doesn't like it when I use it in both. I think that was the issue. Either way, I activated it offline and I'm not logged in or synced in. But the shift, it doesn't find it. Look. Search. Key map is genome. Is that on purpose? What key map? Search everywhere. Right there. Control P. But if I do Control P now, it just, if I do it here, it's just not understanding. At the top of the setting you are on. Yeah, that is on purpose. It was like that. It just made a copy because I changed a few stuff like this. Search everywhere. I like it in Control P. It was working the other day and now it's not. I don't know. I don't understand why. What happens if I do Control Visual Studio then? Control T. Genome does not have it. Genome copy does. Remap the display manager on Ubuntu for Control P. Yeah, I'm going to do that right now because I don't want to do this over and over again. Keyboard, right? Shortcuts. What the shit? How do I remap that? Control P. Where is that? It's not in the shortcuts. There's nothing for display. That's so strange. Is it in? There was another thing that I installed. ChatGPT? Yeah. Oh, the Super P shortcut in Genome cycles through display modes and can indeed reset your carefully configured display settings. Open settings, keyboard shortcuts. Look for switch to next. Oh, okay. Switch to next display. Keyboard shortcuts. Switch to next. What? Under system. Oh, under system. What? System. Nothing like it. Alternative methods. Via settings. Set genome. Video out. Hmm. There's nothing in the keyboard shortcuts. Nothing that I can see. Nothing for display. Everything for switch applications. Super tab, control alt escape, super N, disabled, disabled. Alt tab, alt escape, super plus. There it is. Delete that crap. That's what I did the last time, and it did it again. Now that this is done, should have taken hold right away, which means that if I do Command P, it did it! God damn it! Look at that. Mother of God, why? It was disabled. I disabled it. Why did you do it? Hmm. Where did the shortcuts go? Keyboard, shortcuts. All right, let's do super plus E. Nope, there is no shortcut for that. And yet it is doing it, which is so fucking annoying. Maybe it needs another restart. I'm gonna fix this first and foremost. Disable. Sorry about the white.
The stream is now paused for ads.
Recommending the dconf editor, but that's for 18.4. Same thing here. Oh, look at that. Genome Twix. I thought I had that. Twix. Yeah, I did. I have genome twigs. Keyboard. Additional layout options. Mm-hmm. And then what? Miscellaneous compatibility. Miscellaneous compatibility. Hello. Miscellaneous options. Is that what it is? No. Yeah, this is not helping. I saw a command here that might help. I'm gonna try this one. Works on 24.4 as well. Is it gonna do it again? If it does, I'm going to restart. It didn't do it. It didn't do it. That worked. No more command P. Be gone. Now, can I assign command P as a shortcut here? Well, let's see. Settings. Why are you opening on the other monitor? Key map. Let's go for search everywhere. I'm going to add a second shortcut as command P. It doesn't take the super. It does read control P. What if I do alt P? Are you going to complain? No? All right. Apply. That worked. Alt P works. Control P doesn't work. I think it's Vim the problem here. The Vim extension is probably jacking or hijacking that control P or not reading it because P, yeah, it is. Control P is go back one paragraph. Oh, that's what it is. I can fix that. I can fix that. If we go to settings, again, why are you opening in this other monitor? I hate you. Can you? Fine. Let's look for Vim. Where can I switch the Vim? Oh, here it is. Control P is gonna be, there it is. Search everywhere. It's being used by Vim. It's gotta be IDE. That's a problem. If we do apply, and now I do Control P, now it works. That was today's tangent. All right, let's go back to what I was doing. I'll look into it. There was a license problem, I think. But maybe now that I think about it, now that I say it out loud, it might have been with my data grip, because on data grip I have a license for data grip from my work, and I have a personal one. So it might have been, so I have a personal one for PHP Storm, but I have the job one for data grip, and I could not have both of them open at the same time. That might have been the issue. So I'll look into it. All right, let's try. Does he remember? Yeah. Can you research response meet or requirements? I will try and say there's already. No, actually, I want to see it struggle. I want to see it struggle and figure it out. Job postings. Yeah. I forgot to set it on plan mode. Mother. Okay, never mind. Yes, read it. Wait, no, cancel. I will set it on plan mode. And what I am going to do is say latitude and longitude are optional fields. Was it really 30 minutes? What I lost there? Laravel boost for the database schema. Yes, and don't ask again. Oh, this time is checking the current structure of the database schema. It didn't do that before, I think. Interesting. Let's see, database model, job postings. It did something different this time. Interesting. It was going to do a jobs table before, now it's doing a job post. Apparently it used the MCP tool from Laravel Boost this time around to read the database schema first before creating a migration. That is quite interesting. You would have ended up doing it, but after the fail, I think. This time it went and do it first. That's fine. Optional fields. as optional per user. There you go. Resources. Okay, form components, table structure, testing. All right. Manually accept edits. Enums first. Enum already exists. Huh. Okay. We have another enum for employment type, string, full-time, part-time contract, freelance, internship, temporary. Okay, that looks good. And different colors for the badge. Yeah, like it. Go ahead. Now one for job status. Draft, active, expired, and archived. Labels and colors. Good. Create job postings. Forwarding ID, publisher ID constraint on delete cascade. Okay. Title, description, latitude nullable, longitude 11.8. I wonder why the different lengths. Probably because, I don't know. There must be a reason for it. Nullable both. Employment type. URL. Category. False by default. Remote work option. Status featured RPA. Nullable. Revenue per action. That's a comment. All right. And we have index on status, employment type, featured, and publisher ID. That looks good. Go for it. Job posting model, P-levels, casts. Okay. Aren't you overcasting a little bit? Maybe. No, because it's SQLite. I think that's necessary. Something I've had problems in the past with decimals. Relationship to publisher, relation and expires. Is expired. An attribute for is expired. That's nice. And an attribute for coordinates to return latitude and longitude as an array. Okay. Like it. Yep. Run that. All right, database seeders, database factory, model factory. All right, database factory, definition for job titles, categories, coordinates. Oh, interesting. Hold on. Okay, it's just defining a set list of job titles because there is no random value for that. Coordinates is just a fake latitude. Oh, there is a faker latitude and a faker longitude. Interesting. This faker boolean 70. Huh, never seen that before. If there is a boolean 70, it's going to do that. If not, it's going to leave it null. And it's using the job titles for a random element. Location is just using concatenation for city, state, and country. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Bunch of helper functions. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right, now the database seeder has created between 3 and 8 job postings for different publishers. Okay. It's reading the publishers. If there is no publisher, is creating 5 publishers, and for each one of those is creating between 3 and 8 job postings. Between 1 and 3 active featured, and between 2 and 5 active remote with coordinates. All right, that's a nice assortment of test data. Changing the hero icon to outlined briefcase. Nice, nice. Setting all the values for the resource. That's fine. Job posting form. Let's see that form. Quite a long form. It's actually using the grid again. It has a memory of what we did before. So it's doing a grid so that everything is a single file. I like that. So it's using a grid. We have a select for the publisher. Um, all right, is tied to the publisher name. And we have a select for the status, text input for the title, reach editor for the description. Nice, nice. With a bunch of toolbar buttons. Then we have another section as a grid. Have a text input for the location with a placeholder. Okay. I would rather use 3 drop downs, but that's gonna come later. Probably. Drop down for the employment type. Then another grid, latitude. This is going to be optional, right? Yeah, it's not required. I may end up removing this too. Or if I manage to implement the API to query these two values using city, state, and country, I may ask to be auto-populated from the response. That'll be interesting to see if Claudito can figure it out. And then we have a toggle for remote work option. A new section for application details, application URL, category, whether it is featured or not, and finally the RPA. Everything looks good. Heated boy. And then we have the resource table, title, sortable, searchable, with a weight of medium, publisher name, searchable, sortable, toggleable, location, sortable, searchable, with a limit of 30, that's fine. Tooltip. What are you doing there? Oh, I see what it's doing. If it's longer, it's cutting it at 30, but it is adding a tooltip only if, so that you can see the whole value, if it is longer than 30. So if it was cut, give me a tooltip with the full value of the state, of the location, which is city, state, country. What is choosing, it is choosing to make it that way. All right. Label, employment type, that is a batch, I think. Yeah, batch, another batch for status. An icon column for featured. Oh, it's using a star. Nice. The true color is amber. The false color is gray. Nice. Another icon for rework option. What are you using? Home. A home icon for the remote work option, nice touch. Expiration date, created at, RPA in money format. Then for the filters, we have filters for the status, employment type. We can search by publisher name, search by featured, by remote option, and by expired. Sorting by created at December. Okay, looks good. Go ahead. By the way, if it doesn't come across, the reason why I like to do manually approving every edit in my case is that I don't lose context of what is being coded. So by just glancing at the code, I'm building a mental map of the code that has been reading, so that I'm not completely blind as to what it is in the code base. At least I have an idea, and I often find little details that would have I would not have thought of using myself, like changing using in this case it was the using icons for columns. Probably wouldn't have done it myself. So I like to review every line so that in my brain I'm creating a mental map of my code base, even though I'm not the one writing it. So I would recommend, if you are doing this, take your time to read every update, every line of code that has been written, and try to understand it as well, so that you are not completely alien to your own code. All right, relationship to job postings, nice. All right, moving on to testings. Feature tests. It's going to use artisan make test, which is good. Let me write a comprehensive tests for job posting resource, for the job posting resource.
The stream is now paused for ads.
I would pause, but I just can't stop this now. I will probably stop now, actually. Let me see. What are you testing and how are you testing it? It can render a job posting. It can render job postings list page by just using the factory, creating file records, using Livewire. Hmm. Is this? I don't remember if this is the way to test. No, it is. Maybe it is. There was already another. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted either. There it is. There was already a couple of tests, feature tests here. No? I would have thought there was already a set of tests for the other resource. This is not the project, that's why. Why are you here still? Dear Lord. This one, dude, this one. Hmm. It did something different last time. It did livewire test. I'm guessing by the time it realizes that livewire as a function does not work, it's going to go back to this nomenclature, this expression, livewire test. Let's see it. Let's see if it works. As for the testing, let's just let it run it. See if it passes. Running the test and fixing any issues. Let's see what happens. Yeah, use that command. Ah, fail. It was the database. Was it? No. I'm gonna give it some direction here because it's going on a completely. Hey Rafi, how you doing? Just vibe coding a project for Filament version 4, and later, but not later today, but later in the project is going to be there's going to be also a mobile app and with an API backend, native PHP. Use the same approach for testing. No, for all testing code, use the same approach used in the publisher resource test. Trying to do some weird stuff. And I know that it already managed to have the publisher tests passing. So I'm just going to say, hey, you already did that. Go and copy what you did and do the same thing. Filament Docs uses the cleaner livewire function for tests. Correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever I try to use that function, it fails. The test fails. At least in my experience. So I've always had to fall back to livewire colon test. All right, a bunch of changes. Yeah, vibe coding. I have been enjoying it so far. I've had a noticeable improvement. You need to import it? Probably. It would have been weird that I didn't. But then again, I don't remember. Using the refresh database, that'll fix things. Okay, it's doing livewire test again. Probably. I have not. The moment I decided I wanted to do this, I actually canceled my Gemini subscription that I was already using for other stuff, and went for cloud code instead for cloud. So yeah, I'm actually paying for the monthly subscription, the pro license, which is $20 a month. I have not experienced this level of vibe coding for free. I'm guessing you would run out of tokens pretty quick. Okay, all right. Okay, just run it and tell me if it does work. Fail. Why? Several issues. Batch column doesn't exist in filament 4. I need to use text column instead. Really? There is no batch column in filament 4? Really? Oh, it's a text column. Yeah, you're right. It uses a text column with a batch. Yeah, you are correct. And the rich text editor is converting descriptions to HTML format, causing test mismatches. Okay. All right, that's correct. It sounded so convenient, but yeah, I was rused. All right, so it's giving up testing the description. Okay. Removing problematic tests and focusing on core functionality. All right. Mm-hmm. I need to fix the color issue. The color enum returns arrays, not strings. Let me check how the publisher table handles this to fix it. Okay. Okay. Rich editor needs to be in a specific format. That's a non-issue. AW codes, it's on AFAIK. Interesting. Don't need color, not format. State using if it's an enum. Hmm. Let's see it struggle. See how it handles it. So it's just changing everything from using the enum to just strings. It is a kind of a complicated question. I am tempted to say yes, that you do need to be up to the standards of the industry and what the industry needs if you, unfortunately, if you want to find a job. Because when you're looking for a job, you need to find a job that is there has to be a match between your knowledge and what the industry or the company needs. That match cannot reach you cannot reach that match if you do not try to match what the industry is requiring of you at the moment. So I do recommend that you, if you're going to start looking for jobs in your industry, which is, yeah, just a developer, try to look for jobs that are up to your standard or your level of knowledge. Also, it's like meet me in the middle kind of situation. You have your knowledge, but you cannot know it all. There is obviously there's always going to be a gap of knowledge between what the industry requires and what you know because you don't have experience yet. But you can do your research, and in the meantime, while you're looking for a job, you can train yourself in the requirements that other companies want. You are going to look for job postings, you're going to be going to interviews, you are going to be receiving feedback constantly on what is it that these companies want, what is it that the industry is requiring. And while you're looking for a job, you're also educating yourself and trying to improve and increase your knowledge. So it is a meet me in the middle kind of thing. You do need to be up to the current technologies in trying to learn the tools that are available right now. But don't concern or stress yourself too much about having all of the knowledge before starting to look for a job, because there's always going to be a gap. You need that gap is filled by the experience that you're going to have in a job. You cannot go thinking that I need to know everything before I start looking for a job. Don't. Just start looking, and yeah, experience will give you that last gap of knowledge that you need. I don't know about that, to be honest. Seems to be a specific thing in your country. Maybe you need to, maybe you could expand to remote work. I don't know. It is a good idea to know uh, a little bit of Vue. I don't know about React. If you like React, I I learned Vue on my own. Honestly, it wasn't something that was required of me, but I learned it anyway. So if the majority of jobs that you're looking for require you to know either Vue or React, then it's time to learn learn something new. You don't need to be an expert. You have to at least have some sort of some level of knowledge about Vue if the requirement for the job, if the job requires it. Is it hard to learn Vue? No, not at all. It was harder for me to learn React than Vue. Vue, not hard at all. All right, looks like it managed to pass all the tests. And now it's going to do a reformat using Paint. Always a good thing. And it's done. We can access it via, what is it? Completed, PRDs, requirement met. We can just go here and go back here, do a refresh. There are, look at the briefcase icon. That's nice. That's nice. I like it. It didn't do any seeding, which is okay. Interesting. So industry seems to be leaning towards or away from the tall stack. It's either React or Vue. It is a good idea to have some sort of code or things that you have done. That's why I always recommend that when you're learning or when on your free time, if possible, that's what I do in my free time, in my as a hobby other than video games. I do this. I create stupid, small little projects that have no real time, not real time, not real live scenarios. I just do them because I want to try Filament version 4. I want to try Inertia with Vue.js. I want to try something. I want to try native PHP with push notifications. So I just give myself a small project so I can tackle something real. It may not be production level, but it will give me something to tackle and something to struggle with. So yes, do give yourself small projects because at the time when you're looking for a job, most of the time, I don't know if this is real or not. This is based on my point of view when we in my company were looking for a new developer. The one thing that I always wanted to see is show me some code. I want to see your code style. So show me a project on GitHub that you have done in the language that we want you to use, which is PHP and Laravel. In this case, maybe Vue and React. I just want to see if you can write readable, clean code. It doesn't matter if it is something big or something small. I just want to see your code and see if I can understand it. If I can follow the logic of your code without even knowing what you were creating. That is something that I was doing in the interviews, and it gave me an idea of what kind of developer you are. If you are in an interview, the interview most of the time is just to see if you are a fit for the company. It's like dating. So I want to see that a few lines of code that you have created, to see if you are a match for this company. Everything else is just you as a person. But I do need to see some bits of code. So it is recommended that you have at least some project on GitHub that you have created, even if they are just small little projects that you created on your hobbies as a hobby or on your free time. Where did I? Some of them I just thought about them. Some of them came from my own experience at work. I just adapted those in a simple way. And most recently, I just go to ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. Give me an idea. I want to learn this. Give me 5 project ideas that are short that I can use to learn this. And then when you have a project idea, okay, give me a project requirement documents of this idea, and then use that requirement document as a prompt to use on if you want to use vibe coding or something like that. But if you have a document that describes the project that you want to do, that helps a lot. And I think AI right now, it is a great tool for inspiration. That is a really good project. Migrating an old MySQL vanilla PHP project to Laravel. It has an incredible learning experience, I think. Use the tools that you have. And one of the greatest tools that we have right now is A, YouTube, B, AI. And if you use those two in a smart way, you are going to be ahead of most people. Just remember that those are tools, not answers, not the complete answer. They're just tools that you can use to learn. Don't make the mistake of using AI and vibe coding to create all of the code without you even knowing what's been written. Just use it as a tool to be faster, but try to always understand what's been written and what you are creating. Never lose sight of your own code. Oh, look, this is pretty. I like this. Yeah, this looks great. And it's filament, so I know it works. Okay. It's been 2 hours and 10 minutes already. We will give this a real test on Friday. Yeah, no problem, dude. Anytime. I hope I hope my advice and my ramblings gave you some direction at least. And good luck, by the way. Thank you so much. We're gonna cut it here. If you're on Twitch, there will be no gaming tonight. I gotta get to go to bed early today, so both Twitch and YouTube streams are going to end. I will find someone to raid on Twitch, so if you want to stay for that, that'll be good. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again on Friday. Let me see, who are we going to write today? Hold up, hold up. Let's see who's live today. Who do we have? Who do we have? We have Calras playing Path of Exile. Muhuros is not live right now. Yeah, Calras is fine. Let's raid Calras, who is playing Path of Exile 2. There you go. If you want to stay and go say hi to Calras, awesome. And
The stream is now paused for
oh,
ads.
fuck's sake. Right on the break. Never mind. I'm just gonna. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. Twitch, YouTube. I'll see you again on Friday. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.